In his search for answers, he dug up more than he bargained for. The explosions. Even more digging.
But we realized that if we make SteamWorld Dig and then we become famous, and then the next game is SteamWorld Dig 2, it will be very difficult for us to make anything else but SteamWorld Dig 3 afterwards.
And you get trapped in a concept of the same type of game.
And then we would be back, you know, like into making the same games
all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the idea. Like SteamWorld Tower Defense, then Anthill, then SteamWorld Dig. It was they were all sort of, let's make something different. Please, let's make something different. And so when we had made SteamWorld Dig, we actually made 2 small prototypes of games that we actually didn't release.
Okay.
One of them is a SteamWorld game that probably we're going to make later.
Yeah.
And we started on the prototype, but it just ended up being head scratchers. It was like, we don't know where this is going. And it's like, we don't know where this is going.
Just put it on hold and let's do something else, and then maybe we could go back to that idea and develop it more.
That's right.
With free aiming instead of dice rolls, your skill makes all the difference. Use your surroundings to pull off fantastic trick shots.
But then one lunch break, again, it seems like we do all our good work on lunch breaks. Then our lead game director, he presented the idea behind Heist to me. And his original idea was that it was actually only like space soldiers. And I said, that's great, but I have 2 conditions. It's like, one is it needs to be a SteamWorld game. It will be robots, steam-driven robots in space. I don't care, but it needs to be in SteamWorld. It's going to be great. And also, we need to have it finished before the end of 2014. And so it became a SteamWorld game, but it came out just before the end of 2015 instead. So it was a whole year delayed there, compared to the original plan.
Anthill arrived this 24?
October 24th.
October to Nintendo Switch?
Yes.
And how was the process to adapt the game from mobile to Nintendo Switch? How is developing for Nintendo Switch now?
It was creating games for Nintendo Switch is maybe you know, maybe you don't, but it's actually very easy. And Nintendo has made it very, very easy for developers. Also, I think we have a good framework from before. And so, actually, we had Anthill ready for Nintendo Switch last year.
Oh,
yes.
before.
Yes, but we were working so hard on SteamWorld Quest that we thought that we were going to release SteamWorld Quest at the end of last year. But then we delayed that until the spring, and so Anthill was just waiting to be released. And then. And when Nintendo announced the Switch Lite, which is handheld only, then we said, okay, this is great, this is perfect.
This is the moment.
Yeah, this is the moment, because Anthill is also a handheld only game. You cannot play it on the TV.
You have to play it with your
fingers, that's right.
Yeah.
Or you can play with your nose, I think, but it's probably easiest to play with your fingers.
Maybe that's a new gameplay idea.
So you have to wipe your nose first. But it's so, yeah. Anthill is a really special game for us at Image of Form because it's the first great game that we made. before that, SteamWorld Tower Defense came before Anthill, but SteamWorld Tower Defense it's a nice little game, but it's not a great game. It's an okay game, you know.
It's like the story of Angry Birds, because I know the Angry Birds is the 75th game
from Rovio, yeah.
Yeah, so 74 game before there was
crap, yeah. But I think SteamWorld Tower Defense, it's not a crap game, but it's a very simple game. Right? But then Anthill it's a brilliant.
You have to start little and then you get bigger with the time.
Yeah, that's right. So Anthill is it's sort of like a castle defense game mixed with line drawing and with real-time strategy, right? So it's wonderful. It's my go-to game. If I have nothing to do, I will either play chess or Anthill. You know what I mean?
You have to make some time, so you start your Switch and start playing like in a little short time.
Yeah. So it's. Now I'm very proud that we are bringing Anthill to Switch. I wanted to do it for a long time, but now is the perfect time because with the Switch Lite, I really have you tried the Switch Lite?
Not yet.
All right. It's nice, you know. It's actually really nice. It's lighter. It doesn't weigh as much, and I think it's just something that is just crisper. Like it's a handheld thing.
Switch all the time in mobile form. I really don't play it in dock because I'm going to my work and then I have to do a lot of stuff, and so I play in mobile. That's the way I play SteamWorld Quest.
Right.
So in my bed before I go to sleep, I play like an hour and a half, and then.
Okay, well that's very nice.
Very good game, by the way.
Quest.
Quest.
So you heard it from Daniel, not from me, right?
I know. I'm not very used to the card games,
right?
But I really love the concept, and it's a SteamWorld game. So for me, it's like the SteamWorld brand is like a brand of cual.
Very nice. Thank you. But it's also something that we decided like a long time ago that because we are small. Whenever if we make a bad game at one point, well, that's the end. You know, it's like nobody needs. If we make a bad game, then nobody needs to buy our games anymore because then you're only as good as your last game. Right? So we need to stay up there to spend more time in every game.
How many times did you play and replay the game before release it? So how many months maybe you have to be perfectly sure that the game is great for release?
It's it's many months, and it's really many man-months because I think we are done with the game like 2 months before release every time, and then we just test it, and usually there are no bugs at the end because we iterate the entire time. When we start making a game, after maybe 2 months or 3 months, we have an early first version, and then we play it, and then we find bugs, and we tell the programmers, okay, kill the bugs, and then let's continue. So towards the end, the games are almost always bug-free. I
never see a bug in the game. So
no,
that's great.
Well, there are a lot of bugs in Anthill.
Okay.
But we make sure to get rid of the bugs early on in the process. So I don't know, I must have played SteamWorld Quests maybe 250 hours or something.
Because there are so many combinations of the cards, so
that's right.
You have to be sure that everything works very well.
Yeah, but so I play the game like 200, let's say 200 hours. We have 25 people in Image Form now, so 25 people are playing the game for 200 hours.
Wow.
So in the end, it's almost like, don't give me this game, let's put it out there.
Next for SteamWorld Universe, because we have SteamWorld Dig, SteamWorld Heist, and then SteamWorld Dig 2. I love the game, by the way. And spoiler alert, that final, oh my god. Okay, no voy a decir más, chicos, no voy a decir más. The way SteamWorld Dig connects to the SteamWorld Heist and then SteamWorld Quest. What is next for SteamWorld Universe?
A really great game. So we are already working on. We're working on two things now. Actually.
Okay.
Because so now, before when we were maybe 8 to 10 people, we can only work on one game at a time.
At a time, yeah.
But now with 25 people, we can actually make sure that almost everyone is working on one game, but then we have a small team that is pre-producing.
A new game.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're preparing. So now we have the team, almost the entire team. They're working on one game, and then we have a small team in pre-production for another game.
Because a game can be 3 years, 4 years of developing.
For us, yes. I mean, the next game that we will release, it will, for real, we will have work on that game. We have worked on that game now for 2 years already.
Oh,
and we will work on that game for at least a year, I think, more. So that would be 3 years. That would be the longest game that we have worked on, actually.
So it's getting bigger and bigger every time.
Yes. And it's a curse because, you remember, we made those kids again, we made the kids games, so many games, and when it became boring, it's bad. It needs to be fun the entire time. So working on the game for 3 years, at the end, it's dangerous because it can easily become a little bit boring. But now, now we're working on two separate games. Okay. I'm very happy with
maybe a spoiler alert or not yet?
No spoiler alerts today, but yes, we're working on one of them is a SteamWorld game.
Wow, nice. So, bueno, chicos, esto creo que sería todo por hoy. Y one last question.
Sure.
This trip to Peru can inspire you for future games?
It already inspired me. I have today I was talking to my daughter about one thing, and then afterwards I was thinking that could maybe become something. So usually these days, I run the company, so if I have a game idea, I have to be very careful because I'm working with some really brilliant people. My ideas are usually they are this good, and their ideas are this good. So if I come back to the office with an idea, they're going to be very tough.
Okay. So for finish the interview, we want to make you a little present.
Really? You didn't have to do that, Daniel. Oh, come on, really?
It's a present from all the Nintendo PS staff. I hope you enjoy it.
Do you know what it is? Can I open it?
Yeah.
Oh man, this is great. Christmas comes early.
Maybe for your inspiration.
Oh man, that's
games.
You didn't have to do this.
Oh yeah, he went. We are very, very glad that you come here to Peru.
Oh man! Now I see what you're saying.
It's
the magical world of Peru.
Es un libro de leyendas y de historias de Perú. It's a book of magical stories and legends illustrated by an artist. So I hope that maybe you can read a story from a character from the jungle de la selva amazónica.
Right.
From the Andes, there are like demons, there are goblins, and every magical creature you imagine, but in the Peruvian version.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you. Thank you very much to the staff at Nintendo PE, and also a shout out to the developers in Peru. I hope that you keep up the good work, right? And that you make some great games. I think the world is waiting for some really good stuff from Peru.
Yeah. By the way, there is an indie developer company here in Peru that is developing a game about it calls Tunche.
I know them. Yes.
Yeah.
I actually have. I've been in contact with them.
Oh, okay.
So I've seen the what do you call it? Yes, I did. Well, the trailer.
Okay.
The thing was that I thought it was so beautiful, so I actually emailed them myself.
Okay.
But I don't know how it's going for them. Actually, I haven't talked to them in a while.
Oh, the game is developing for a long time. I don't have news either from the game.
I must email them, but for everyone who's watching this, you should really root for those guys because it's really beautiful. Can you put a link?
Yeah,
sure.
To the game.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful.
En eso sería todo. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much.
Thank
Brjánn.
you so much.
For finish, maybe you can say hi to all the people watching.
Well, guys
from Nintendo Play.
Yeah. Well, this was sort of a spur of the moment thing. It's like I was talking to Sergio at Nintendo. How do you say
Nintendo P?
Nintendo P. And I mean, we've emailed with each other for many years, and I realized I was going to send him a code. He asked for a code for Anthill, and so I sent him a code. And then I realized, wait a minute, I can meet these guys. And I didn't even know if you guys were in Lima at that time. So I'm very happy. This is very coincidental, all of this, but it's a really happy coincidence. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you for your visit, Brjánn.
Cheers, thank you so much.
Bueno chicos, eso fue todo y nos vemos en otra oportunidad. Chao.